we to define what makes life divine? Dismissing grand design, we dine on these lies, laying lives on the line. We scorn what is sacred for the sake of comfort. This is why we fight. Tell me, does your right to choose make your choice right? Because the choiceless are left voiceless, and the voiceless cannot speak for the justice that they seek. But if you would tune your ears to hear the weak, let your hearts awake to what's at stake. An entire generation crying out their muted plea, we're dying out. Listen to the sound of 1.6 billion hearts that no longer pound. That's 1.6 billion destinies, individual and irreplaceable, perfectly portioned, sewn and stitched together by the greatest surgeon in history, fashioned with the image of his very own face, yet human hands deem them small enough to disown and erase from this despicable earth which only knows cruelty, 'cause denying them birth is a favor, not murder, which calls for penalty, right? And you may murmur among yourselves and say, hey, who is she to speak? Just a young white girl from poverty, just a little white girl who learned too long and too soon how babies are made, just a little white girl forced into a big girl game, wishing every day she never had to play it, 'cause a price would be paid and she would have to pay it. I was 11. Bankrupt and broken, ruined and ravaged by the words that were spoken. No one will ever love you. Is it true? I would pray, but hey, the scars will fade, or so they say. So I pray. And on those grounds, I'd like to say that abuse is not an excuse to extinguish life, because this momentary solution will only reproduce into cycles of strife, leaving deeper wounds and wider scars in the already gaping crevices of your broken heart. But from the lips of God it was written, for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that none shall perish, but that all might be saved. But catch this, it's what we miss. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but to save the world through him. That means that every child, no matter how broken and defiled, can be reconciled at the cross, because it was his loss and our gain that he would take our unrelenting pain and with it nail his one and only begotten Son to a tree to be murdered and slain, that we might be free. And he still calls out, let the children come to me. But first, we must simply let the children come to be. And it's not my right to judge or cast condemnation, for you too are God's creation, and the degradation of your humanity only calls forth devastation and calamity. No, my heart is that your womb and what it carries might never be a tomb where life is buried. I said that your womb and what it carries might never be a tomb where life is buried. Oh, my heart is that 1.6 billion more might have breath to say, I am more than the pain placed on you by another. I am your child, and you are my mother, and no matter how abandoned, we still have each other. Oh, my heart is that 1.6 billion more might live to tell, I am more than one choice, and I am more than one self.